Welcome to Soul Sisteries. Welcome to Soul Sisteries, where the sisters just got together to chat a little bit about hope through witnessing and really just kind of sharing our thoughts on what is happening in the country today.
Hey everyone, we thought we'd just have a little conversation, the sisters, and talk about stuff because boy, are we feeling stuff, and we know you are too. And we're called in this time of so much drama and angst and feeling and horror and boy, you name it. There's so many words we can put down on this. We're called right now, we feel called to witness what is happening, to give it a name. And right now we thought, well, let's jump on and let's speak. Yeah?
Yep. And so it is exactly that. It's the hope through witnessing. And all of the ways that we are dealing with it ourselves, and how do we witness to try to make sense of it and to find hope, right?
Because in the end, right, what does it matter if we don't have that, if we don't have that hope, we don't have that connection, we don't have that current of love, which all of that always exists, but how do we stay mindful of that when such egregious, horrific, heartbreaking behavior is happening, when such horrible things are happening, but also amazing things are happening. It's the Mr. Rogers thing, right?
Right.
Look to the helpers.
We've talked over the last year, we've talked about a lot of different things, and there's been hope through activism and, showing up and doing the work and being on the ground and getting messages out and supporting others. And that is so hopeful. So in this crazy, the last year has been crazy, and the last few months even more so, but seeing the numbers of people that are showing up and coming together and, being a voice and fighting back, fighting back, and
let me jump on that because I'm interrupting you, but you say fighting back. The reality is it's not fighting back, it's pushing back, and it's calling out truth.
And I guess, and what I wanted to say is non-violently fighting back, but being a voice and being a presence, I guess, more than anything, right? And showing up to witness for their friends and family and neighbors. And that's been hopeful. And then over the last few weeks, it's been really, really scary and frustrating and absolutely insane to see these things that are going on, right? So then you kind of spiral down, and it's like, oh my gosh, how do we maintain this hope? And it is not being quiet, even though you're being pushed to be quiet. It's not hiding.
And the fear tactics are there to keep you quiet.
Yeah.
Right? That's not working, though. Isn't it amazing how quite the opposite is happening en masse? That there is no quiet about this. And with the outrageous lies that are coming from leadership, I mean, it would be laughable if it weren't so horrific. It's like it's Dr. Evil that is happening there.
And I think back to just when I was younger and reading, of course, reading the Diary of Anne Frank, when I was much younger. And then as an adult, reading a lot of autobiographies that were written, really diaries more than anything, that were written during World War II and through the Holocaust. And, and really that was my way of witnessing what happened. I wasn't around then. I mean, I
Yeah.
know what I know from my history books, right? But feeling like that couldn't all be in vain. Like, their
Yeah.
legacy has to live on. And so reading that and really being engrossed in that, and not ever in a million years thinking that anything like that could happen again.
Right,
Ever.
because we learned. We
We thought,
learned, right? It was
we,
so clear and
we
so
thought.
much evidence, and there's film and there's stories recorded. Yeah,
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the heartbreak, right? Is to see how easy it is
Yeah.
for propaganda to
Mhm.
sway a
Yeah.
great many
Yeah.
people.
But
And go ahead.
no, no, go.
Well, I was just saying the truth is, because we're also, and you and I were talking earlier about this, we're aware that we also sit in this privileged
Yeah,
position
for sure.
as white Americans having
Mhm.
an experience and being aware of and being told and talking with friends
Yeah.
about other experiences and never disputing that that was so,
No.
but also not fully understanding in a real and lived way
Yes.
what that
Oh,
is
yeah.
and seeing it today and feeling so much anger
Mhm.
and sadness over the truth of what a great many of our people have experienced
Forever.
forever, and
Forever.
how wrong that is, and how we as a nation
Yeah.
need to fully acknowledge that. That's where the
Mm.
healing comes,
Yeah.
right? When
Right.
we witness, we
Yes.
acknowledge the truth of what
Yeah.
is and has been. That's the
And
only way the healing happens. We
right.
can't just, well, over and done,
Yep.
and now we move forward because we understand.
Right.
Clearly not.
Right. And seeing what happened this last week, and we'll name it Minneapolis, the last couple of weeks, and feeling so, oh gosh, just I don't want to say hopeless, but feeling just really, really low as I was seeing the events unfold. And then seeing the people who showed up after that, who didn't hide it in their houses, more people coming out in other states and other cities, coming out in solidarity and supporting and okay, pushing back, but showing that they're not going to just recoil
Yeah,
and go away because we have a government that's telling us we're not supposed to do this.
exactly. They are bearing witness in the best ways and are
Mhm.
showing us the best of humanity. And I guess that's
Mhm.
what is carrying me through
Right.
right now is
Right.
that exists by the millions,
Mhm.
right? That's
Yeah.
the hope through is this this capacity within us as human beings to
Mhm.
stand with and for one another and to
Yeah.
hold that space. And we see that happening around the world, across the
Yes.
country and
Yeah.
around the world, and in fullness, in amazing fullness in
Right.
Minnesota
It-
right now.
yeah.
Oof,
And yeah, what
here
that
we
sounds
were.
like. Yeah. So of course, in the middle of all this craziness, right, there's crazy weather in the world and things are being shut down because of that. But yet people in these storms are showing up. And so last night when I think we were expected to recoil, more and more people came out. And for me, that just gave me hope. That was that I keep hearing songs in my head, but I get knocked down, but I get up again, that
Mhm.
sort of, and it is very much that, like, you might push us back, but we're not going away,
Yeah,
and we're not folding to this stuff that we know is illegal and
mhm.
inhumane
Yeah,
and un-American and I'm
Absolutely.
Christian.
Yeah.
and, and
Well, at
you
least the
know,
Christian that, we kind of
right.
knew back then.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
Well, true Christian. I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Um,
yeah. I don't
yeah.
think that word means what you think it means,
No,
a la Princess Bride, right?
I
Yeah.
I don't remember a whole ton of stories from the Bible, but I do remember Jesus going into the church and turning over tables.
Right.
And that has
Money
always been
lenders.
a vivid story in my head. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, yeah. And when the pastors show up in mass, when
Yeah.
people who we haven't heard from over the last year, maybe because they had some privilege and were able to keep their mouth shut, but
Mhm.
not that they didn't realize what was going on.
Yeah.
But now people who I hadn't heard from are showing up. And
Yes.
I mean, showing up for the rallies, showing up, you know, posting and sharing things on social media,
Yeah.
sharing things through their artwork, knitting beanies for people, all sorts of things that they're doing in mass.
Yeah.
And that is beautiful and that is hopeful.
Yeah. And as we're hearing said again and again these days, it has nothing to do with right and left. It
Oh,
is right and wrong. And
yeah.
there are ethics
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
There are ethics. There is humanity.
Mhm.
And it's not of varied opinions. We're
Yeah.
talking about fundamental
Mm.
ethical behavior.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
we're going back to that Christian treatise, we know that the messaging there is love is all that matters.
Right.
Love of God, whatever one calls,
Mhm.
God, love, universe, source, love
Yeah.
of God, love of self, love of others.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
That's
it,
like
right?
that's the totality right there.
Yeah.
So it requires our government, our
Mhm.
leadership to live in that space as well.
Yeah.
There's also a great deal of hope in the world reaction.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Yeah. To our neighbors, how they're responding, um, countries throughout Europe, how they're responding, um, that they're not just folding also,
Yeah.
you know. Oh, yeah, of course it makes me a little jealous that there's real leadership in other countries and I would
But
love
there's real leadership here too, and we
yes.
have to remember that. And there are governors, there are mayors,
Oh, for
there
sure.
are
For sure.
social leaders.
Yeah.
There is real leadership
Yeah.
here as well. There is some perverse leadership
Yes. Yeah,
happening.
yeah, yeah. And I guess I guess that's what I mean.
Yeah,
If we look at the hierarchy, who we're supposed to, depend on, that's not there. So it's the ones that are standing up and making a name for themselves
yeah,
through this. But, so we were talking earlier too about, what does that mean to witness? And it doesn't just mean to keep your eyes open, right? Although that is one of the ways we witness. We
yeah,
don't put our heads in the sand. Although believe me, there are many times throughout the day, throughout the last several months where I have just wanted to be like some people I know who just have no clue whatsoever is going on, right? Don't look on
yeah.
social
Or
media.
choose not to.
Choose not to, right?
Yeah,
And I there's something about like, okay, just put my head in the sand, find myself a good book, just keep reading, don't ever, look at what's going on in the world. That's not an option for me.
no,
So we were talking about how are some other ways, what else are we doing to actually witness? And, like I said earlier, reading autobiographies from the past, but also reading stories in the present,
right.
reading, witnessing the individuals whose lives have been taken and reading their stories, hearing from their loved ones and people who knew them, who they really were,
Yeah,
what their lives were really about. That's important to me. Saying their names is really important to me.
yeah,
And then what else do we do? How else do we do this? And we have kind of shared that whole idea of like the collective consciousness and coming together and really kind of, getting with others like, hey, let's have, 15 minutes of meditation or prayer or, sitting in the silence, whatever you want to call it, to, you know, to, I guess, elevate the consciousness to, you know, oh, I'm thinking of the word to, I guess to just rise above, to
Hmm.
raise the vibration of the
Yeah,
world. Of
hold
our
the high
country.
watch, to hold
Yeah,
the high watch where there
yeah,
is there is a lot of muck going on, but to also hold that
mhm,
perspective of love,
mhm,
of order from chaos,
mhm.
of the best of what it is to be a human in full expression.
Yeah,
To hold to that, to look for that, and of course, we know also the more whatever we keep in mind and whatever we pay attention to also
yeah,
magnifies in our
yeah,
experience,
yeah,
and that vibration, that energy does radiate and connect, and it does have an impact, it does have weight. So I think part of also how we're witnessing, you and I right here, speaking how we're speaking and saying what we're saying,
yeah.
this is, in other areas of my professional life, there are certain ways in which I need to edit and filter
Yeah,
perspectives, and there is a certain grace in sort of room for all ideologies and expressions.
yeah,
And I don't differ from that perspective unless and until, as now, it is
yeah,
so egregious, and it must be called out,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
must speak.
yeah.
So you and I speaking in this way, I think
This,
this is
this
the
is
witnessing.
witnessing.
Even
This
if
is
two
witnessing.
people listen, I have no
Yeah.
idea
Yeah.
how many people will.
And the reality is, yeah, yay, if people listen, but it's more about like, I guess I just need to talk. You just need to talk. We just
Yes.
need to, this is us coming together in our own little world to hold out hope for each other, I guess,
Yeah.
And one of the things we talked about is, and I don't even know if we've talked about this in earlier shows about, practicing Reiki and other forms
Yes.
of, kind of energetic healing that we do. And really that idea of coming together with a group of other energy workers and light workers and doing some Reiki, some healing for the situation, for the country, for the world,
Yeah.
for, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. So that's what we're committed to being a part of. I know
yeah.
you and I have both discovered in our lives we can't not do that.
Right,
We can't not be part of the solution.
right.
Can't
Yeah,
not be on the side of love
yeah,
and light, no matter what.
yeah.
And the reality is we've both walked through some very dark times. I know I'm not immune to personal treatment by those who are expressing the darkest ways in which
Mhm.
humans can behave. I
Yeah.
I get that. I'm not disputing that that's so. Um,
Mhm.
I don't contend that there's a force of evil in the
Yeah.
world. I think there's sickness. I
Mhm.
think there's sickness, and it takes expression, and it
But,
has in a really big way right now.
but,
So, but
yeah.
there's but the light
Yes.
always
Yeah.
exists, and the love always
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is my truth, is that love is so much stronger, and there
Yes.
are there is so much more good in this world still. And
Always. Always.
always, and good always wins,
Yes.
and yeah, and we talked earlier about Mr. Rogers and the looking for the heroes, and
Mhm.
in every day, but in every one of these incidents that we're seeing, there are real heroes that are stepping up and
Yes.
yeah, and
So
making a difference for others.
so we're celebrating them now,
Yeah,
and we're witnessing.
yeah,
Yeah. Hope through. Hope through giving it a name.
yeah,
Hope through speaking. Hope
yeah,
through observing. Hope through staying aware. Hope through joining with others and speaking truth
exactly
and
that.
standing hand in hand.
Mhm. Yeah,
So there we have it.
there we have it, sis. Yeah.
Hope through, everyone. Join us. Join us. Much love to everyone.
Thanks for joining us today on Soul Sisteries.
And thanks for sharing stories with us. We'd love to hear your stories as well and keep the conversation going, absolutely keeping the hope going. So we're really hopeful that you'll connect with our guests as well who have great stories to share. Go ahead and follow them in various social media platforms or live venues, wherever it is that they're performing and sharing what they do.
We would love to have you follow us on all of our social media platforms, subscribe and rate, as that will help us get our message of hope out to others.
Thanks for listening to Soul Sisteries.